Good morning, Wellspring. Good morning, Wellspring. Oh, see, that's so much better. Happy Daylight Savings Time. Okay. My name is Judy Bethman, and I'm part of your Sunday, March 8th service team. We have a few opportunities. As always, early birds meet Sunday mornings at 9:30 via Zoom. The link is in the website and the weekly email. Our speakers for March today is Jeanne Gehringer. Next week is Reverend Kamatara. And then I am speaking on the 22nd. And my topic is on Edgar Cayce and his views on the resurrection, the apocalypse, and you. And on the 29th, which is Palm Sunday, Reverend Sandy Scott will speak. Our lunch bunch will meet this Wednesday at 11:30, and we're going to change our venue to the Corner Bakery and see how that goes, okay? And it's on Loman. It's the only corner bakery in town, okay? The Board of Trustees will meet this Wednesday evening at 6:30 via Zoom. The congregation is invited to attend these Zoom meetings as we do the work of our beloved Wellspring. You can get the coordinates from Edward. Thursday evening group continues to meet on Thursday evening. Surprise, surprise. Get coordinates from Edward and Cleona. What are you still doing? Are you...
They're doing some Casey stuff right now.
Okay, they're working on Edgar Cayce videos from Gaia TV or YouTube, one of the two. Dowsing workshop with Jeanne. It's going to be 3/21 from 1:30 to 4:30 in the social hall. There's a $35 fee. The March gathering is Saturday, March 28th at 3 p.m. at the Wellspring, constructing our labyrinth, which is going to be right behind the wall here, with a potluck to follow. So put that on your calendar. That should be fun. Our prayer team remains ready to serve and support you. Please consider sitting quietly after you submit your request via our webpage or give it to Edward. Sit quietly in your space on Tuesday at 4:15 so that we can pray with you, because we know prayer holds no limitations, and we are one in spirit and with the energy. So with that, as we hear this pure tone, let us take a deep breath in and release, and listen for that vibration, and let it surround you as spirit is invited to surround us, because we know we are one in spirit. And for this we are very thankful. So as a congregation, let us give great thanks that Spirit is present in every second, in every breath that we take. And so it is. All right. So please stand if you are able, and let's sing our song of joy. Hopefully I got the slides right this time. We'll see.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful blue and clouds of white, the bright blessed day, the dark sacred night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful earth. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry. I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Bridge. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I see skies of blue and clouds of white, the bright blessed day, the dark sacred night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yeah, yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
Okay, please be seated. And we'll continue with our vision, our mission, and our affirmation. Our vision, to elevate spiritual consciousness in our world. Our mission, to support individual spiritual quests through celebration, study, counsel, loving fellowship, and service. And our affirmation. Spring comes reminding us that there is always renewal following the dormancy of winter. We give thanks for the understanding that nothing remains stagnant in spirit, and we are always growing and renewing. And so it is. And now it's my great pleasure to introduce Jeff G.
Oh, thank you, guys. This is a little song inspired by Eric Butterworth, a speech he gave about the supermind. And I say it every time, but every time I think about Eric Butterworth, I want pancakes. Hope you guys enjoy.
Inside, love in me, love in you. Light inside, love in me, love in you. We are all one in the supermind. We always have been whole. There really are no lines that divide. There is no need for control in the supermind. Peace inside, joy inside, peace in me, peace in you, peace inside, joy inside, peace in me, peace in you. We are all one in the supermind. We always have been whole. There really are no lines that divide. We always have been whole. There is no need for control in the supermind. We're all one in the supermind. We always have been whole. There are no lines that divide. There is no need for control in the supermind.
Thank you, Jeff. He gets around the piano really well, doesn't he? Well, Jean's going to talk about silence this morning. And in the Buddhist tradition of Om, when they say Om, and they take their breath in, and they breathe out, and they sing it again, that silence, when the breath happens, is where they say God is. So I looked up Ernest Holmes, and he had nothing on silence. And so then I went to good old Google, right? And they had a lot of Christian stuff about silence. So this is what I gleaned. The spiritual disciplines of silence and solitude may be quiet, but they're also full of adventure because God Himself is waiting to meet you there. Whenever you get away from the noise and the busyness of life to encounter God through silence and solitude, He'll, she, they change your soul in ways that go beyond. Spiritual growth and maturity, silence can be a way for God to help you grow in faith and reliance on Him, just as children must sometimes find their way without a guiding hand. So too, believers must learn to trust even when they don't feel God's presence immediately. It's during these moments that faith matures and believers learn not to rely on feelings but on a committed trust in God's promises. There are times when God may be silent to prompt self-reflection. Silence can be an invitation to examine our hearts, actions, and motives. Sometimes unaddressed sin, unresolved anger, unforgiveness, or unhealed wounds can create distance. In these moments, God's quietness is an opportunity to seek forgiveness and realign one's life with His values. Engaging with God's silence is a transformative practice that fosters spiritual growth and deeper understanding. By embracing moments of quietness, believers can cultivate a more profound relationship with God, recognizing that even in silence, He is present and working in their lives. As Psalm 46:10 reminds us, "Be still and know that I am God." And now it's my great pleasure to introduce our beloved Jeanne Gehringer.
And out loud for all to hear. Excellent reading. I gave her a few sentences to work with, didn't hear back, so I knew she was on to something. So today's talk is about silence. Not only about silence, but being comfortable in it. Because so many of us are not and have a hard time getting there. In the silence, in the pause. So let's talk about why it's important, even essential, to make the habit of being in the pause, in the silence, at one with ourselves, allowing us to hear our higher selves and source, or God, or however you wish to call it. Now, this little topic for this talk came to me in my normal morning meditations a couple of months ago. It came to me that I needed to do a little talk on this. So it came to me in the silence that I needed to talk about silence. Talking about silence, that's funny, okay. So, some of you are going, oh God, you know, that's so hard to really be that quiet. And I'm saying we don't have to be that way all of the time. None of us have chosen lives where we're currently monks or true mystics sitting days and months and years at a time being silent. We've chosen to be in this world now. But to be there in enough time to keep us in balance, in good energy, in sanity. Let's look at the world we live in now. You're going, ugh. Constant chaos and instability, yes. Constant interruption. Many simultaneous major events happening with grave consequences. We have constant information coming into us. Multi-sensory. It comes to us with all our senses. We see it, we feel it, we hear it. There was a time, not in the distant past, our parents' years, when information came in with one sense. Radio, you heard it, that's it. Or print, you read it. And now, I say we are assaulted with all of our senses. And with the graphics on TV and radio, thank you, dear, we're practicing our ESP communication here. And with the way they do graphics and the way they do TV, whether it's entertainment TV or news TV, our visceral senses are impacted by the imagery, by the sound, and it's meant to, and it does. So we have multimodality, multisensory. By multimodality, I mean not only do we have TV and other ways, we are now listening to podcasts, maybe in the car on the way over. We got our phone, the phone can do all kinds of things between being a phone and bringing us podcasts and listening to books on tape or whatever. Each information bit overlaps the other. There's like no time in between. No time in between. Do you all feel that speech on TV, radio, or whatever is faster and faster and faster. Faster and faster and faster. I don't know if I'm the only one that has to hit the pause button and rewind to hear what they all said. Don't know. That is a function of getting older, that we process it less quickly. Now, I did a little research and tried to find some data which would prove this point, that the news and the TV of today is at a faster pace, pardon me. I know what's causing this, phlegm in my throat. So as a dowser, I'm going to undo it right now. And see if I can't get through that. What I'm doing to those of you who aren't dowsers is I'm simply getting into the energy of what's causing that and asking my spirit guides, dowsing team to undo it so that I can give a better, clearer talk today. So let's see if that's helpful. Okay. Faster and faster. So I tried to find research which showed that. But the last research ended in 2019, where they said that they couldn't find that the speech was faster. But I think a lot has changed between 2019 and now. So my own informal research of listening to different things, seeing which channels I had to hit the rewind button or the pause and go back, and which channels I didn't have to. That was my unofficial thing. And found that there was a couple that were at a pace that that we could take in and really listen to once. So we all feel that. I could see a lot of nodding heads, faster and faster. Little or no space between sentences or paragraphs or even thoughts. No space. Now, we all know people who talk like that. My sister, who will never listen to this talk, so I can talk about her. She goes on and on so fast and so rapid fire, and she starts like that at 5 in the morning. Now, anyone who knows me knows this puts me into bleary land. Oh, my God. I don't even come alive till 10 or 11, so. And she just rapid fire with no space in between. Oh. Even listening to her, I find exhausting. And one morning, I made a note of everything she's talking about. And I said, do you really want me to respond to every one of these bits? And she said, oh, no, that's how she is. And we know how uncomfortable it is when there's no space between. I am assuming I'm not the only one who actually finds it tiring to be on the other end of a deluge with no spaces. So what does that affect? Our autoimmune system? It affects us mentally. It affects us in a lot of ways. We want to add that with our, and I do love wonderful cell phones, but that with texts and emails, we are expected to respond 24/7. The old days when you were off on the weekend, you were off. Your bosses couldn't reach you. You were done. That's over. So you can get downloads of work you're supposed to do, or you're expected to respond at any time. So let's remember a minute, those of you who are here, my talk on January 25th, on 2026, and for those who weren't here, I believe it's up on, it's up as a segment on YouTube. I'm looking at Edward, who's in charge of that. I talked about the cycles of time that we are in now, and just quickly, I talked about how we are in many cycles of time right now at once. That we are not only in our calendar year, that we are also in an 80-year cycle that the U.S. created when it was born, that we are also in a 250-year cycle of empires, that we are also in a 2,000-year cycle going into the age of Aquarius, and that we are also in a 26,000-year cycle. And where we are now in that talk was they do go around us all the time, but they open and close at different times. But where we are now is we are at the ending of all of them and the beginning of the next phase of all. So we are in, and I see people who weren't hearing that talk and they're going, yeah, that's why it feels so chaotic. We are in the middle of the end of all of this and the beginning of all of this. Oh, and in addition to that fun fact, we're going up to the 5th dimension. So if anyone feels like they've been on a roller coaster, okay, we're there. Yes. So in addition to the constant information, we're in this cycle of time. So I'll let that sit a minute and give a pause and bring in another concept. The U.S. is a do culture. We are a do culture. It's a culture of accomplishing, of doing, of getting things done. How are you doing? What are you up to? How's your do list today? It's all about action, activity, accomplishing. Pause has been all but deleted from our culture. How many of us, when we eat a meal, do it concentrating on the food, the preparation, the taste, but how many of us, John says, yes, he does. Good. And how many of us are also doing it while we read or watch TV or do whatever? Okay? Yeah. So, in this do culture, there's a lot of interrupting, not listening, fast talking, multitasking. Someone joked with me that I multitasked this morning. I actually got here before it started, and time enough to pick up John on the road, and on a day where the clocks changed. This is hallelujah. It's the only hallelujah you get in a New Thought group. Okay. And some of us even take our phone to bed. Take the phone to bed. Unbelievable. Now, there are bee cultures in the world. Bee, to be. They tend to be aboriginal or native, where they live in alignment with what they are doing with nature and themselves. It's a bee culture. Now, what I'm going to say next could be taken wrong or like an insult. I do not mean it. It's in context with a bee culture. When we, in our culture, sneer at this by calling it being island time or Indian time. That's a sneer of us going against them being in bee time. So rather than, how are you doing? How are you being? How are you being? If I ask that to you, you get a different feeling than how are you doing. Does your heart open up a little bit and go, oh, she cares how I'm being. How am I being? You're going to answer a little different, aren't you? So why does being in the silence or being in a pause matter? It allows us to process, to understand, to reflect, to ponder. I love to ponder. I ponder all the time. To respond rather than to react. Very important. A good reaction when someone or something comes up to you too quickly demanding a response or that you make a decision or do something is to say, let me put some space around that. It puts you into a pause, and that's a nice, non-insulting way to put them back a little bit. Being in the silence allows our bodily systems to reset to a healthy level of being. Most of us lived in prolonged periods where our bodily systems are amped up all the time in a stress mode, flight or fight. Stress and inflammation are a constant. And the underlying cause of most of the common diseases today is what? Inflammation. Inflammation. Aging. Looking at us. How are we aging? And how much is that aging in a non-beneficial way due to stress or inflammation? Most important, being in the silence places us in a circle of quiet where higher self and the divine can be heard. Intuition is fostered. There is a nice article that I found after I wrote the talk, actually, in this month's Science of Mind about intuition. Interestingly enough, she talks about little things she uses to help people find lost things. And as a dowser, I'm asked to find lost things all the time, right? And actually, she does pretty much what I teach now, rather than dowsing all over, about going very quiet. And of course, I say, put a golden cord between the object and you, and then forget about it. All of a sudden, you will go, it'll be there. You'll find it. It'll just happen. And she has something similar to that in here. Cracks me up. She doesn't know she's a dowser. She's pretty good. So intuition, incredibly important intuition. Because intuition is the answer to a lot of life's problems. When you sit and you're totally clear and it comes to you, the solution, that's your intuition working. There's a psychologist named Daniel Kahneman, and he works on what he calls System 1 and System 2. System 1 is a fast, intuitive thinking. System 2 is slow, analytical thinking. And it shows that when we quiet the analytical mind, the intuitive mind can access information. We all know that. So how do we get there in this place of pause and silence? And here's where you all say, it's easy for you, Jeanne. You live alone, you're single, you can just tune in any time of the day, you don't have anybody around you. And I'm going to say we all need to find a time and a way that works for us, no matter what. It can be different for everybody. So I encourage you to find a space that works for you, that's empty of other people and distractions. It may be in your car. You may need to go drive 3 blocks and park with your cup of coffee and be alone. For a lot of people, it can be in the bathroom. Turn on the water, run the shower, whether you're in it or not. So we can find a place that works for you, empty of other people and distractions. Chimes, outdoor noises, meditation recordings are okay. They get you to that place. And dowsing, we call it alpha state, being in alpha brainwaves. Just sit. Your eyes can be open or closed. It doesn't matter. With me, it's whatever Spirit tells me today to do, whether they'll just either shut if they're supposed to, or they're open and I'm watching the birds cracking up, but I'm there in alpha state because I'm totally focused on the birds. Be still. There are some folks that tell me, oh, but I can get there when I'm walking. I can't. I'm busy looking for snakes. And I'm busy not trying to trip over my feet or watching. To be still. Use your breathing. Inhale through the nose, long, out through the mouth, 4 or 5 or 6 times. You can feel, and after the talk we'll practice this, you can feel you going into alpha state, which is your brain cycles, your body cycles going lower. Being still and breathing in a quiet, uninterrupted place are the basic concepts. And being present. That's why I like doing this outside, because watching the birds, and that's being present. I'm seeing what's going on out there. Feel your body. Now, some of you may be able to get deeper already where you're not in your body. But for a lot of us, feeling our body, that's wonderful. Your soul chose to come in and have a body. What a gift. Let's feel it and thank it. It got us this far, folks. To just feel your body. No expectations. It's really important to make this a regular practice at about the same time. So whether you can do it once a week, once a day, why is it important? Because it's like a muscle you're creating. My spirit team knows about when I'm going to come in, and I sit down and go, I'm here. And they're waiting, because we're all scheduled at about the same time. A regular practice, it's like a muscle that goes, it's like for a musician. When you sit down to practice, all your small and big muscles know it's time to practice. They're ready. They're ready to work, right? That's part of the deal. And that's why making this is a regular practice is incredibly important. And how do you become, I was speaking to a lovely man yesterday, and he said how he went to like a retreat kind of thing. It was new to him. It was a Buddhist kind of thing. And the first day he's going, oh, let's get out of here. Let's get out of here. This is just too slow. I'm uncomfortable here. The second day he's, oh yeah, I'm there. He got it. He's in the space. He's feeling really, really good. Third day he says, let's go home. Okay. Because, especially in our society, we are so wired to be on that we have to teach ourselves through repeated use not to be there all the time. So what had happened to him is his normal started speaking of this is the level of activity we want to be at. And he hadn't yet developed a practice where the other was his normal. That's what had happened there. I would encourage anybody not only to do a small daily practice, if you can, even if it's 5 minutes, even how small. And when you see how good that feels, and you look forward to it, like say you schedule a daily walk, and you look forward to your daily walk, the same thing. But I would really encourage, however it works for anybody, to take a full day. However often works for you. A full day of being in this space, in the silence, where you have no appointments, you have nothing, you get up when you feel like it, you eat when you're hungry, you do whatever intuition tells you to do. Now, it may be something on your do list, but it may not. But you literally are tuned in to doing what intuition tells you to do. And to spend a whole day doing that, when you can't, that is the most delightful day. I do them every so often. And I know it means that you have a life where you can do this without other people getting in. And that means no texting or phone calling, unless calling a couple of old friends that really means a lot to talk with is on what intuition says to do. It's a wonderful practice. I used to do it every Sunday until I started coming to Wellspring. So now I've chosen other days to do this, where it's a full day in a pause, no expectations. So in this silence, this pause is where you are with your higher self and source. It's the connection. It's where intuition comes through and understanding, where spiritual guidance is felt and heard. In the Daily Word this month, the little Unity publication, there's a lovely little story about a lady who got diagnosed with breast cancer, and although she was a daily meditator, she got on a full, everything upended, and her day was up, phone calls, this, that, scheduling this, doing that, researching this, researching that. And after almost a year of treatments and stuff, she was really felt very, very out of balance. She wasn't trusting anymore that this chemo was doing any good. She was really sick. And she realized that the one big part of her healing was missing. And that was her meditation practice to tune in to what Divine was saying about this. And she did. And got back to her practice. And in that silence, got different information about how to do chemo and radio, changed her regime, and she's fine. But she realized that the most important part of her healing had been kicked out in the onslaught we have of making appointments and checking information and doing all she had to do. And like Judy said, the biggest part of this silence is written for us. It's be still and know. And that is where the knowing comes in. And I want, as a remembrance, that just to sit is enough. You don't have to make it a big practice. You don't have to do a lot of explanation. And as a little reminder, I've made these cards that I'll have this gentleman pass out because she's resting her. And that's just a little card to put somewhere as a reminder that just to sit is enough. That whether it's on your refrigerator or your mirror or anything, I love that little cat. What's not to love about that cat? But that in that silence, in that place, and especially now, just as a maybe, something to think about. Thank you. In this time, which many of us feel is a time of dark and light, battling for dominance, what better way to damp the light than to put us in a deluge of crises and chaos so that we go from one thing to another so fast thinking, and we don't have time for the pause. And without those pauses, we don't reconnect with our light, allowing the darkness to come in more. Food for thought, that by taking this time for the pause and silence, that is a wonderful, quick, and easy way for us to very quietly counter the darkness that is in our world. Thank you for listening today, and thank you for being here and hearing this message. So now, let's do a nice little meditation where we practice being in the still. No expectations. We'll go ahead and start by doing this. So just be still. Now we breathe slowly in through our nose, out through our mouth, and again, in through our nose, out through our mouth, and again, in through our nose, out through our mouth, and we just sit and feel our body calming, our mind calming. We feel viscerally different. We feel slower. We feel connected with our spirit guides, with the divine, however we call it. We feel the presence of this sacred space. And in this wonderful calm space, we revel in the quiet. And we'll let each of you go on with that quietly for another minute or so. And as we quietly open our eyes and come back into Wellspring, into our wonderful community, we have that memory of how good it felt to be in that space. And know that with practice we can get there again and again. And the more you do it, the quicker you can get into that space. And now Judy will have Jeff doing a wonderful piece of music to follow that. Thank you.
What a great message, and what a great reminder to make space and relax. Well, this is a song about my earliest memory, and it must have been probably in early 1970. I was laying in the shag carpet in our house and crawling, and my mom was talking on the beige phone, and I remember the screen door and the Santa Ana wind blowing in there in Southern California. And I wrote a song about it. There's not a lot of details about that memory, but it's what spurred the song. So I hope you guys like. This is called God is the Morning Sun.
God is the morning sun. God is the stars at night. God lives in everyone. We're open to the light. As we live and breathe in love. 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 God is a gentle rain. God is a healing wind, a power that can't be changed, a love that will never end. As we live and breathe in love, we live and breathe in love. We live and breathe in love. We live and breathe in love.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry, I better move it. It's going to fall off here.
Okay. Thank you, Jeff. You know what? Not only does Wellspring have a plethora of speakers and a variety of topics, but you know, I was just thinking we have a variety of musicians. Jeff comes and does the sort of the rock thing, and then Doug comes and kind of does the country thing, and then Melody comes and kind of does the folk thing. So we have sort of a wide variety of musical styles. And without silence, music can't be there. So the sounds of silence. When I taught third grade, we had a new age thing on our third grade listening lesson, and those kids wanted to sit and close their eyes and cross their legs in crisscross fashion and just be and listen to that music and shut their eyes because their life is so crowded and so busy. And so they come, can we meditate again? I said, it's a relaxing tape because I didn't want to get in trouble with meditation. You know? Yeah. Okay, well, going on, it's time for our offering. So, well, thank you, Judy Westfall. Yeah. You could always go up and you want to play? You can even play through my little prayer. Okay? We are a tithing community, and we know that these in-person and virtual gifts will go out into the community and into the cosmos and spread joy and love and whatever beneficial energies is needed. We give great thanks as we release these wonderful gifts, and so it is. Thank you, Judy. Okay, there are a number of folks who have contributed to the production of this service, and we are grateful for their service. We also thank you for joining us today in Zoom land and here in the sanctuary. And lastly, if you want to stay around in Zoom to visit with each other or go over to the social hall and join us for coffee and conversation, please do. Please stand if you are able and read the benediction and followed by our congregational song. Spirit, in the midst of us is mighty. Joy, peace, and eternal life are our true nature and flow through us into the world. And so it is. Before we start, I wanted to make one more announcement. Peace Lutheran Church is having a peace vigil tonight at 5 o'clock to hold the world in the light. So if you want to go and join us at Peace Lutheran, that would be great. All right. You ready, Edwin? Come and we'll join in a circle. Now